Let's be honest. Most people treat time and money like socks in a dryer. They know they had more, but somehow it just disappears, and no one can explain where it all went. But let me tell you, a secret known to every self-made success, story, wealth, and achievement are not accidents. They're the result of disciplined budgeting, both in your finances and your hours. Time is the one resource every person gets in equal measure, rich or poor, young or old. 24 hours a day, no more, no less. Yet, while some seem to get a lifetime of results in a year, others barely scrape by, lost in the fog of busy work and endless distractions. The difference isn't luck or genius, it's the habit of budgeting time with the same seriousness as you'd budget your last dollar. Think about it. If you don't tell your money where to go, you'll always wonder where it went. The same goes for your time. People with no plan spend hours putting out little fires, chasing urgent demands, or scrolling aimlessly, and then wonder why their dreams are still gathering dust. High achievers, on the other hand, treat each minute as an investment. They choose in advance where to spend it, how to multiply it, and just as importantly, what to cut out entirely. Budgeting isn't just for accountants and spreadsheets. It's a philosophia way to take charge of your life instead of drifting through it on autopilot. Start with awareness. Where does your time actually go? Track it for a few days. You might be shocked to discover how much slips away to meaningless tasks or idle habits. The same goes for your spending. Little leaks, left unnoticed, can sink even the biggest ship. When you begin to budget your time, you force yourself to answer the hard questions. What matters most? What moves me closer to my goals? What am I willing to say no to so I can say yes to what truly counts? Budgeting is not about restriction, it's about liberation. You free yourself from regret and wasted effort. You gain the power to build, create, and enjoy life on your own terms. And here's the kicker. Time and money are deeply connected. Waste one, and you usually waste the other. Master both, and you set yourself up for opportunities, progress, and peace of mind. Every dollar saved, every hour wisely used, compounds over time like interest in the bank or momentum in your career. So, take this seriously. Treat your hours and your income as precious capital to be invested with intention and guarded against thieves, whether those thieves are subscriptions you forgot about or the endless lure of social media. In the next part, we'll dive into practical strategies for tracking, planning, and making the most of your resources so you never have to wonder where your day or your paycheck disappeared again. The first step to mastering both your time and your expenses is to bring them out of the shadows and into the light. What gets measured gets managed. Too many people avoid looking at their schedules or their bank statements out of habit or fear, as if ignoring the truth will somehow change it. But champions face reality head on. If you want control, you need clarity. Let's start with time. For the next week, carry a notebook or use your phone to record how you spend each hour. Be honest. Don't pretty it up for yourself. Write down the scrolls through social media, the long just 5 minutes breaks, and the meetings that could have been emails. After a few days, patterns will emerge. You'll see exactly where your focus leaks out and where you're actually productive. Do the same with your expenses. Track every dollaries, every coffee, every snack, every impulsive online buy. Nothing is too small to count because small leaks sink big ships. When you look at your spending in black and white, you might be surprised by where your money goes versus where you think it goes. Now, here's where the magic happens. Once you know where your time and money are going, you can decide if that's where you want them to go. The act of tracking is already a powerful motivator for change. People often find that just by becoming aware, they start to cut out the little wastes 5 minutes here, $10 there that were never bringing real value in the first place. Next, set up a simple plana budget for your hours and your dollars. Prioritize your most important tasks. Schedule them when your energy is highest, and guard that time fiercely. Treat appointments with yourself as seriously as meetings with a boss. Remember, the most successful people schedule their priorities. They don't prioritize their schedules. For your expenses, create categories: needs, wants, savings, investments. Assign every dollar a job. Automate what you can. Set up automatic transfers to savings, pay bills on time, and avoid the temptation of easy spending on a whim. Here's the kicker. Budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about permission. When you know your essentials are covered and you've put aside money for your goals, you can spend on the things you truly enjoy without guilt. The same with time. When you know your most important work is done, you can truly relax in your downtime. And don't forget to review. Life changes, so should your budget. Once a week, check in. What worked? Where did you drift? Adjust and keep going. Progress is a process, not an event. Remember, mastery over time and expenses isn't a talent, it's a habit. It's about daily decisions, honest review, and the willingness to take charge. Do this, and you'll soon find you have more of both than you ever thought possible. When you begin to take charge of your time and money, you unlock the ability to create results that once seemed impossible. There is something deeply empowering about seeing on paper exactly where your resources go and then choosing to redirect them with intention. Suddenly, every hour and every dollar feels like an opportunity, not an obligation. Think of your resources as seeds. Scatter them thoughtlessly, and you may never see a harvest. Plant them wisely, and you'll watch your efforts grow into real achievements. The greatest fortunes, the strongest businesses, and the happiest families are all built by people who learn to invest their resources, time, and money in what matters most. When you budget your time, you reclaim hours that once disappeared into distractions. Even 30 minutes saved each day adds up to more than 180 hours a year, the equivalent of over 4 work weeks. What could you build with that reclaimed time? A new skill, a side business, a healthier body, or deeper relationships. The possibilities multiply as soon as you take control. Budgeting your money has a similar effect. It isn't about penny pinching for its own sake, but about creating freedom. Every dollar you save is a building block for your dreams, whether it's an emergency fund, an investment in your education, or the seed money for a new venture. The discipline to say not now to a fleeting want allows you to say yes to bigger opportunities down the line. It's easy to underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. The world celebrates overnight success, but true mastery is always the result of daily habits. The coffee you skip today funds tomorrow's investment. The hour you protect from distractions becomes the foundation for a breakthrough project. Over time, these small choices create the difference between those who wonder where their time and money went and those who can point to what they've built. As you grow in this habit, you'll discover a new sense of peace. Stress fades when you know you're living on purpose, when every expense and every hour reflects your values and ambitions. You stop chasing every shiny distraction and start focusing on the actions that move you forward. There's no need to compare yourself to others because you know you're living your plan, not someone else's. Remember, budgeting is not just a skill, it's an act of leadership. You lead yourself first, and in doing so, you set an example for those around you. Children, friends, colleagues, they all watch how you spend your resources. Your discipline inspires theirs. Your choices become a silent invitation for others to live with more intention, more freedom, and more possibility. You have everything you need to take control. With each decision, you move from reacting to life to directing it. The habit of budgeting your time and expenses is the cornerstone of self-mastery, and with it, you build not just wealth, but a life that's truly your own. Mastering the art of budgeting time and expenses isn't about squeezing joy out of life, it's about multiplying it. When you gain control over your schedule and your spending, you unlock the power to say yes to what matters and no to what drains you. It's not about austerity, it's about freedom, the kind that lets you build, create, and experience life on your own terms. Let's talk about decision fatigue. Every day you're bombarded with choices from what to eat to how to spend your next hour. If you don't have a system, the smallest decisions pile up and exhaust your willpower before you've even started the important work. Budgeting your time is like giving yourself a map through the noise. Set priorities the night before. Block out time for your most valuable activities first thing in the morning. Automate or batch the mundane tasks so you preserve your mental energy for what moves the needle. Apply the same clarity to your expenses. You don't have to track every cent forever, but you do need a system. Maybe it's reviewing your bank statement every Friday, or using an app that shows you where your money actually goes. When you see the numbers, you get real feedback and real motivation. You might find you're spending more than you think on things that don't actually bring satisfaction. That awareness is the beginning of change. Here's a trick. Treat your time and money as investments, not expenses. An hour spent learning a new skill, connecting with a mentor, or resting so you can think clearly tomorrow is an investment with a return. The same goes for spending on your health, your education, or tools that save you time in the future. Ask yourself, will this action move me closer to my definite major aim? If not, it might be time to cut it out or replace it with something that will. It's easy to let life fill up with obligations, commitments you never meant to make, subscriptions you forgot to cancel, routines you outgrew long ago. Budgeting is your chance to review, reset, and reclaim control. Unsubscribe, delegate, say no more often. Each time you clear away the unnecessary, you make space for the extraordinary. Don't forget to build in rewards. Budgeting isn't about constant self-denial. Celebrate wins, whether that's a guilt-free night off after a week of focused work or a small treat when you hit a savings goal. Positive reinforcement keeps the habit enjoyable and sustainable. Surround yourself with reminders of your priorities. A vision board, a list of goals, or even a sticky note on your laptop can refocus your attention when distractions tempt you. Every system you create is a safeguard against the chaos of everyday life and a vote for the person you want to become. Ultimately, the real benefit of budgeting time and expenses is peace of mind. You'll know where you stand, what you want, and how you're moving forward. You'll stop feeling like life is something that happens to you and start seeing yourself as the architect of your days and your destiny. At the heart of budgeting, whether it's your hours or your dollars, lies a single question. What do you truly value? Most people drift through life on autopilot, their time consumed by other people's urgencies, their money disappearing into habits, inherited, or advertisements swallowed without a thought. But when you begin to budget with intention, you discover the quiet superpower of living by design, not by default. Every day, life asks for your attention. Notifications, emails, unexpected emergencies, and tempting invitations pull you in a dozen directions. If you don't decide what matters most, someone else will, guaranteed. The same goes for your money. Advertisers are experts at making your paycheck feel like it's already spent before you even see it. But with a budget, you get to take the wheel. Ask yourself, what are your top 3 priorities right now? Maybe it's finishing a project, growing a relationship, or building up savings for a goal that sets your soul on fire. Put these priorities at the top of your time and expense budgets. Schedule them first, fund them first, and let everything else fill in the gaps. You'll be amazed how much more progress you make when your best energy and resources go toward your real dreams. One of the most freeing discoveries is the power of saying no. Each time you decline a commitment that doesn't serve your purpose, you reclaim time for what does. When you stop mindlessly buying what you don't need, you build reserves for what you truly want. It's not about living small, it's about living true. The goal isn't to hoard your resources, but to direct them like a laser toward the things that light you up. Remember, no budget is set in stone. Review and adjust. Life is dynamic. Your plan should be, too. If a system stops working, tweak it. If you fall off track, start again tomorrow. Progress isn't a straight line. It's a series of course corrections, each one moving you closer to the life you actually want. Let budgeting become a habit, not a chore. When you master this skill, stress gives way to confidence. You stop worrying about having enough and start focusing on how best to use what you already have. That's when the magic happens, opportunities appear, energy rises, and you become a magnet for the life you're deliberately building. You are the steward of your time and your wealth. With every choice, you shape not just your days, but your character, your legacy, and your impact. Use your resources well, and they will multiply in ways you can't imagine. When you make budgeting your habit, you begin to notice changes not only in your schedule and your bank account, but in your confidence and peace of mind. What was once chaos now feels like order. What felt overwhelming now becomes manageable, even energizing. You stand taller, speak with more certainty, and move through each day with a sense of purpose. That's the hidden dividend of living by design: freedom from anxiety and the power of real choice. One of the greatest benefits of budgeting time is the clarity it brings. You start to recognize what's essential and what's just noise. Activities that once seemed urgent reveal themselves as distractions. You find the courage to let go of meetings, obligations, and routines that add little value to your life. In their place, you create room for focus, creativity, and genuine rest, the things that actually move you forward. Financially, a budget is your personal safety net and launching pad. No longer are you held hostage by surprise expenses or a looming sense of not enough. You know where you stand. You're prepared for the unexpected. You can finally plan for the things that excite you, instead of always reacting to what scares you. With every dollar assigned a purpose, you gain a sense of control that ripples into every decision you make. The practice of budgeting also strengthens your relationships. When you're clear about your time, you become a better communicator, saying yes with intention, saying no with kindness, and showing up fully wherever you are. You respect others' time and boundaries, and soon they begin to respect yours. With your finances, you reduce money stress at home and open the door to shared dream saving for a trip, building a future, or giving back to causes you believe in. Let's not forget the sense of satisfaction. There's something deeply rewarding about watching your plans come to life. Whether it's finishing a passion project, watching your savings grow, or simply enjoying an evening free from worry, you experience firsthand the results of your discipline. This satisfaction becomes self-reinforcing. Success builds confidence, and confidence fuels more success. If setbacks arise, and they will, remember that budgeting is about progress, not perfection. Unexpected expenses, busy weeks, or moments of temptation are inevitable. The key is to get back on track quickly. Each time you recommit, you strengthen the muscle of resilience. Budgeting time and expenses isn't about saying no to life, it's about saying yes to what matters most again and again, every single day. You become a curator of your own experience, choosing what to let in and what to let go. Over time, this power to choose becomes your greatest asset, opening doors to achievement, joy, and freedom. The more you live by a budget of both time and money, the more you realize this is less about numbers and more about values and vision. It's not just, where did my paycheck go, or why do I never have enough time? It's, what kind of life am I building, and what am I willing to say no to in order to say yes to what truly matters? This shift in mindset transforms budgeting from a chore into a creative act, an ongoing process of designing your best life. With your time, every commitment is a reflection of your priorities. When you fill your days with meaningful work, growth, and connection, you feel more alive. When you cut out the noise, busy work, mindless scrolling, draining obligations, you find more room for what lights you up. The paradox is, the less you try to do, the more you actually get done. Focus turns scattered effort into real results. Your budget also becomes a mirror. Each month, as you review your calendar and your spending, you see the truth of your choices, what you say you value, and what you actually value. If there's a mismatch, don't beat yourself up. Use it as fuel to adjust. Maybe you find you're spending too much on convenience and too little on experiences. Or you notice your evenings vanish in front of a screen when you really want to write, learn, or build something new. This awareness is gold. It's the invitation to live with greater intention. One of the greatest gifts of budgeting is the ability to say a powerful, confident no. When you know where your resources are going, you stop being pulled in a dozen directions. You can say no to last-minute demands, guilt-based invitations, and sales pitches that prey on impulse. Each no is really a yes to your priorities, your peace of mind, and your progress. There's also freedom in structure. When you have a plan, you don't have to think about every little decision. You act on your values automatically. Time for health, growth, work, and play each gets its due, and you enjoy them more, knowing they're part of a bigger picture. The discipline of budgeting isn't meant to box you in. In fact, it's what opens up space for adventure, spontaneity, and even rest. Because you're not firefighting all day or worrying about where your money went, you have the bandwidth to be present, to say yes to a last-minute trip, an inspiring project, or a quiet night off. With each month, you grow stronger in self-trust. You see your savings build, your skills sharpen, your relationships deepen. Life feels less chaotic, more directed. You become not just a participant in your days, but the designer of your destiny. By now, you've experienced the clarity and confidence that come from budgeting your time and expenses, but let's be real, life doesn't always stick to the plan. The unexpected will show up. A car that suddenly needs repairs, a project at work that demands overtime, or a family emergency that throws your whole schedule into chaos. The true power of budgeting is revealed not when everything goes smoothly, but when life gets messy. Your habits become your safety net. It's easy to fall into frustration when the plan breaks down, but that's when your real growth happens. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, treat them as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I control? What can I let go of? How can I adjust and get back on course? Flexibility is the hallmark of a true master. A budget isn't a prison, it's a foundation you can rebuild from, no matter how many times life knocks you off your feet. Anticipate obstacles before they arise. Build buffers into your schedule and your finances. Set aside emergency funds, leave margin between appointments, and avoid cramming your day so full there's no room to breathe. When the inevitable surprise comes, you'll be ready, not panicked. The same principle applies to your wallet. Unexpected bills won't derail you if you've already made saving a habit. Resilience is also about permission. Give yourself grace when plans change. Sometimes the wisest move is to rest, reset, and return stronger, instead of powering through on empty. Learn to distinguish between what's urgent and what's truly important sometimes. The best use of your time is simply stepping back, taking a walk, or sharing a meal with loved ones. As you grow more comfortable with budgeting, you'll discover your capacity for resourcefulness. Need more time? Look for creative ways to delegate, automate, or eliminate tasks that drain you. Need to tighten your spending? Find joy in simplicity, experiment with do-it-yourself solutions, or swap services with friends. Each challenge becomes a chance to innovate. The habit of budgeting, practiced over time, gives you a deep sense of trust in yourself. You know you can weather a storm, recover from setbacks, and keep your eyes on your long-term vision. You stop fearing the unexpected because you know you have the tools and mindset to adapt. Budgeting is not about living a rigid, joyless existence. It's about making your resources work for you so you have the space, energy, and flexibility to enjoy what matters most even when plans change. The result is a life that feels both structured and free, disciplined and joyful, intentional and alive. As you become more skilled in budgeting your time and expenses, you'll notice something profound. You're no longer simply managing scarcity, you're building abundance. Most people believe budgets are about limitation, but in truth, they're the scaffolding for expansion. When you choose where your hours and your money go, you open the door to more opportunity, more freedom, and more satisfaction. Let's talk about momentum. Every wise choice compounds. When you stick to your budget for a week, then a month, then a year, you witness real transformation. Maybe you master a new skill, launch a side business, pay off debt, or finally take that trip you used to only dream about. These wins don't come from luck, they're the fruit of hundreds of small, intentional decisions stacked up over time. Abundance also grows in your mindset. Instead of waking up worried about what you lack time, money, options, you start your days with clarity and optimism. You trust your ability to create, to recover, and to grow. Each time you review your progress, you see evidence that your choices are working. Your confidence grows. You see not just obstacles, but possibilities. There's a special power in reviewing your wins. Celebrate every milestone, no matter how small. Finished a tough project on time? That's a win. Stayed within your grocery budget? Another win. Invested in yourself instead of wasting an evening on distractions? That's momentum in action. Each celebration is fuel for your next step. Generosity becomes easier too. When you know where your money is, you can give without anxiety or regret. When your time is managed, you have space to help, to connect, and to lift others up. Abundance multiplies when shared. Your example encourages those around you to live with intention and purpose. Keep refining your systems. As you grow, your priorities may change. What once felt essential may fade, and new ambitions may arise. Your budget is a living tool, not a one-time fix. Adjust it as needed. The discipline that brought you this far will carry you further, as long as you stay flexible and curious. Remember, you're not budgeting for the sake of numbers. You're designing a life of richness in every sense. Each day, with every choice, you prove to yourself that you are capable of steering your course. The world opens up for those who plan, act, and celebrate their progress. You are no longer a bystander in your own story. You are the architect, The more you budget, the bigger and brighter your future becomes. In the end, the greatest wealth you can ever possess isn't measured by a bank account or a perfectly color-coded calendar. It's the sense of control, freedom, and possibility you earn by mastering your resources. When you make budgeting a habit, you stop living reactively and start leading your life proactively. You no longer drift on the currents of urgency or impulse. Instead, you chart a course toward the future you actually want. It's not about pinching pennies or turning every moment into a spreadsheet. True budgeting is about honoring your values, making room for what excites you, and saying no to what doesn't. You become the editor of your own story, choosing which chapters get the spotlight and which distractions get cut in the first draft. There will always be temptation sales, shortcuts, quick fixes, and urgent requests that seem so important in the moment. But now you know the real secret. Every yes is a no to something else. When you say yes to your deepest priorities, you create space for satisfaction and real achievement. When you say no to the noise, you make room for growth, rest, and meaningful progress. The habit of budgeting is not a prison, it's the ultimate permission slip. It lets you take guilt-free time off, treat yourself to something special, or invest in a project you've dreamed about for years. It gives you the confidence to weather life's storms, because you know you've prepared, you've planned, and you have what you need to move forward. You've built more than a plan. You've built a mindset, one that sees every hour and every dollar as a tool, not a trap, one that approaches setbacks with curiosity and resilience, one that recognizes that the journey is as important as the destination. Share your progress. Inspire others who feel overwhelmed or stuck. When you model intentional living, you become a beacon for everyone searching for clarity in a chaotic world. Remind them, it's never about perfection, it's about progress, consistency, and the willingness to start over when necessary. So, as you move ahead, keep refining your budget, both of time and expenses. Use it as your compass, your safety net, and your springboard. Let it fuel your dreams, anchor your ambitions, and free you to live boldly on your own terms. Because at the end of the day, the richest life is the one you create with intention on choice, 1 hour, $1 at a time.